Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate the opportunity to make a floor statement, which is relatively unusual for me, but in this case it is an unusual circumstance that I bring to the attention of the body in my floor statement today, the passing of a good friend of all of ours from the Register of Deeds. Earlier this summer in Southwest Michigan, we lost our local Register of Deeds in Berrien County and one of the finest public servants and community leaders that I've known, and also a great friend, Lori Jarvis. Lori was currently serving her 5th term as Register of Deeds in the county of Berrien. She held the position since 2000 and was reelected 4 times by the people of Berrien County. Without a doubt, she was a passionate leader and loved Southwest Michigan. But her role as Register of Deeds and as a legislative partner with members of this body for many, many years, at some point each of you have met with Lori. As the Register of Deeds in Berrien County, she offered innovative service to ensure that the county residents she served would be well served. She certainly enjoyed the passion and bold leadership that allowed her to craft legislation with each and every one of us, that brought together communities and really gave us the opportunity to see the very best service provided by this critical function in our county operations. She played an active role in the association as the legislative committee, as the go-to person for all of the statewide registers of deeds when it came to legislative initiatives. Any questions about the law, any questions or concerns about the legislative process and how the law impacted the registers of deeds, she was the one that was asked that question, and she had a ready answer. She's the reason that we could today have predictable recording fees in the state of Michigan. She was a driving force behind those changes, and she called them predictable fees, predictive fees, as opposed to just simply flat fees. This took many hours and many meetings and work with each of us in the legislature. She would travel to the UP, in fact, to make sure that those particular registers of deeds understood exactly what was happening, making it easier to answer those questions in person rather than requiring those registers of deeds to come to the state capitol to meet and discuss. She was active not only as secretary, but was elected vice president, and then in 2007 was elected president of the Registers of Deeds Association. She was the co-chair and chair of the Legislative Committee for 18 years, recognized twice in 2009 and 2016 as the only Register of Deeds to be recognized twice as the Register of the Year for the state of Michigan. In her service as a Register of Deeds, she served also in Berrien County in many different capacities, not the least of which was in the Republican Party. She was recently appointed by Governor Snyder to represent Michigan on a committee to address the electronic filing document recording that is becoming the norm. Lori's passion for service began at a young age at University of Nebraska at Lincoln. It was there that it led her to Washington, D.C. with the Nebraska Federation of Young Republicans, and she would eventually meet in Washington, D.C. her great husband, Butch. Her other areas of service include the SAD chapter in Coloma, co-chair of the After Prom for over 5 years, steering committee of the Coloma Public Schools, a steering committee, and also served as a volunteer with the varsity soccer program of which her beloved children participated. Lori was devoted to her community and certainly devoted to her family. She was devoted to the registers of deeds all across this state, and this state had a great loss with her sudden passing just a few months ago. So I ask that my comments be included in the journal, Madam President, and I ask that all of us remember the great work that Lori Jarvis has done for each and every one of us as the Register of Deeds for our great state of Michigan. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Prost, for your comments. A huge loss to the residents of Berrien County and the state of Michigan in the passing of Lori Jarvis. If all members would rise for a moment of silence, and Senator Prost's remarks will be printed in the journal.